I plan to invest in commercial real estate by the end of the year, but I need to raise money for the down payment first. If I borrow money from an investor for the down payment, would I be able to refinance the property and give them their money back after a year? So I almost didn't use this question because I'm not a big proponent of no money down, creative financing, real estate investing, especially now that coronavirus has happened and, over leveraged properties are going to get crushed. However, the answer to this question is technically yes. If you have somebody that's willing to fund you the down payment and you can refinance it in 6, 12, 18 months by adding in a value, and you have the right structure in place, you can technically refinance out somebody, own that property with no out of money pocket. You did all the work, stuff like that. However, if you have no money to invest in real estate, I don't think you should. That's really what it comes down to. I think there are always going to be people who are in situations that don't allow them to save up enough money over a few years to put down enough money to invest, $10, $15, $20, $30,000 to get started in real estate, whatever it costs you. That being said, I think the far majority of people use too many excuses to not save up enough money, to look at creative strategies, to not invest in real estate where there is good risk-adjusted returns. Going back to the last question where we talked about, risk and reward and banks versus real estate returns, if you leverage a deal to 100%, which is basically what you're doing, there's a lot of risk involved, and I don't know what the return necessarily is. It's not for me, and I don't think it's, should be for anybody. But if you can save up for a few years and take a hard look at your expenses and understand what's going on, I think that's the much better way to get involved. Now, can you get creative with your own money and, do some sort of BRRRR strategy or things like that? Sure. I would just be very careful that you don't get into a scenario where you're over leveraging the property. Make sure, your debt service coverage ratio is high, right? You want to be able to cover it at least 1.25 times, if not, 1.35. So that means if your mortgage payment every year was $100,000 for easy math, it should be, the property should be netting an income $135,000 or $125,000. That's a good safe ratio to have. The higher, the better. So if you're looking at it and you think you're going to refinance and only cover 1.1 times, that's a very highly levered loan. Even if a bank gives it to you, I wouldn't recommend it. So for me, I think it's way better to have a risk-adjusted return and kind of just take it a little bit slower instead of trying to do it today with no money. Find a way to build up some cash reserves, maybe get a second job and, take a look at your expenses. I think most people, or a large majority of people that are looking to invest in real estate, especially in the next couple of years, have a larger ability than they think to add some extra income as well as reduce some of their expenses and save up, $5-10 grand a year for the next 2 to 5 years and can get involved in real estate that way. And doesn't necessarily mean it has to sit in the bank for the next 2 to 5 years. You could put in the stock market for the next 2 to 5 years, or you can do different things with it. Maybe a money account where it's only making 2 or 3%, but it's better than nothing. I'm just not a big proponent of creative financing or no money down real estate. So I would encourage you to take a harder look and try to do it differently.